Before the wedding bells rang, before the Instagram post that made millions sigh with envy, there was a story. A story of two artists, drawn together by creativity and torn apart by the weight of their own emotions. Sara Bareilles was never just another pop star. She was the writer, the architect of her own emotions. A voice that bled honesty, a heart that hid in plain sight. From love song to Waitress, she became the poet for every woman who'd ever been told she wasn't enough. But offstage, Sara's love life had been anything but a fairy tale. The same woman who could write about resilience and heartbreak had lived it over and over again. Until Joe Tippett walked into her life. And everything changed. Or at least, that's how it looked. It was 2015. Sara was deep in the process of bringing her Broadway dream to life. Waitress, the musical adaptation of Adrienne Shelley's beloved film. And there, in the heart of the American Repertory Theater in Cambridge, Massachusetts, stood Joe Tippett, charming, rugged, a rising actor who brought his own fire to the stage. Their chemistry? Instant. Electric. It wasn't just lines and lyrics, it was connection. Real, raw, dangerous. People whispered even then, backstage, that Sara and Joe weren't just coworkers. There were stolen glances, laughter that lingered, rehearsals that ran late. She was the acclaimed songwriter, and he was the actor who made her words breathe. It wasn't long before art bled into life. For months, they kept it quiet. The show moved to Broadway and rumors grew. Sara was focused on Waitress and her musical career, but friends noticed a new glow, the kind of glow that doesn't come from success alone. Joe, for his part, became protective, almost fiercely so. Their relationship wasn't tabloid fodder yet, but it was intense. Behind the scenes, there were whispers of creative disagreements, that Sara, ever the perfectionist, sometimes clashed with Joe's actor instincts. But they always found their way back to laughter. Until Hollywood came calling. As Waitress became a sensation, Sara found herself thrust into a new spotlight. Television, red carpets, award shows, she was no longer just a musician. She was a brand. And Joe? He was carving his own path, starring in Mayor of Easttown, gaining fans of his own. Two careers on the rise, two egos in orbit. There were moments of jealousy, subtle but real. Joe's scenes with co-stars sparked gossip online. Fans started pairing him with other actresses. Sara, meanwhile, was being photographed with Hollywood producers and fellow musicians. Behind the smiles were late-night arguments about time, distance, and what it meant to belong to someone in an industry built on illusion. Then came the moment that would melt even the coldest hearts. Mexico City. A golden sunset. The skyline bathed in fire. Sara was having a bad day, the kind where nothing felt right. Joe, ever the romantic, decided this was the moment. Not the perfect one, but the real one. He pulled out a cheap little ring from a local market, imperfect, but full of meaning. A feather-shaped gold band that symbolized freedom and love. He got down on one knee, forgot the ring, ran back, laughed, returned, and proposed. She said yes. That's how love should feel, messy, funny, flawed, and true. But what fans didn't see was the shadow behind that perfect rooftop photo. After the engagement went public, social media exploded. Everyone loved the story, but some insiders began to whisper. Joe was still climbing, and Sara was already established. Their friends called them opposites. There were rumors that Joe struggled with being overshadowed, that her success came with invisible pressure. For Sara, who had always feared vulnerability, fame only magnified her insecurities. Tabloids began spinning stories, one even suggesting that their engagement had been rushed, that Sara was desperate for stability. It wasn't true. But fame doesn't need truth, it just needs attention. And attention hurts. By 2024, the couple was planning their wedding. But between their careers, the stress, and the constant speculation, tensions grew. Sources close to the pair claimed they fought about timing. Joe wanted a big wedding. Sara wanted intimacy. He loved the idea of celebration. She wanted quiet meaning. There were even reports of a temporary pause. Not a breakup, but space. Sara was spotted alone at events. Joe was photographed in New York with friends, including a co-star that fans loved to link him with. It wasn't scandal, exactly, but it was enough to light a match. Then came the quiet comeback, an appearance together at the Girls 5 Eva premiere in 2024. They smiled, touched hands, shared knowing glances. Whatever had broken, they had rebuilt. Sara would later admit in interviews that love isn't about perfection. It's about choosing the person who sees you at your worst and stays. And Joe? He called her my lighthouse. For a time, they seemed unshakable. October 4th, 2025. Sara Bareilles and Joe Tippett stood before their family, friends, and one very well-dressed dog in a tuxedo and said, "I do." It wasn't a Hollywood spectacle. It was warm, real, emotional. Sara wore a simple white dress with elbow-length sleeves. Joe, a dark green three-piece suit. The photos she posted the next day simply read, "We did a big thing. I love this man. I love this community. I'm so lucky." The post went viral. Celebrities like Reese Witherspoon commented, "I love this love story." But beneath the fairy tale smiles was a decade of chaos, passion, and painful growth. Their marriage is still young, but already, the spotlight is hungry. Rumors swirl about Sara stepping back from touring, about Joe's demanding schedule. Fans dissect every post, every like, every absence. Hollywood loves a wedding, but it lives for a downfall. Only time will tell whether Sara and Joe's love story will survive the machinery of fame. Because in this world, even love songs can become battle cries. She wrote the love song the world sang. But behind every lyric was a heartbeat that almost broke. Sara Bareilles and Joe Tippett didn't just fall in love, they fought for it. They defied timing, distance, gossip, and fear. And maybe that's the truest love story of all.